Banking with Capital One helps you keep more money in your wallet with no fees or minimums on checking accounts and no overdraft fees. Just ask the Capital One Bank guy. It's pretty much all he talks about, in a good way. He'd also tell you that this podcast is his favorite podcast, too. Ah, really? Thanks, Capital One Bank guy. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Hey there, it's Ryan Seacrest for Safeway. It's Oral Care Month, which means you can earn 4 times points on all your favorite oral care brands. Now through July 15th, shop in-store or online for items like Colgate toothpaste, Listerine mouthwash, Crest mouthwash or toothpaste, Sensodyne toothpaste, Hello toothpaste, or GUM flossers, and earn 4 times points. Points can be redeemed for future discounts on gas or groceries. Offer ends July 15th. Restrictions apply. Offers may vary. Visit Safeway.com for more details.
Heather is a nurse practitioner from United Healthcare.
We meet patients wherever they live.
During a house call, she found Jack had an issue.
Jack's blood pressure was dangerously high.
It was 217 over 110.
So they got Jack to the hospital and got him the help he needed.
He had had a stent placed in his heart, preventing a massive heart attack.
If it wasn't for my guardian angel, I wouldn't be here.
Hear more stories like Jack's at UnitedHealthcare.com. Benefits, features, and/or devices vary by plan, area, limitation, and exclusions apply.
Avoiding your unfinished home projects because you're not sure where to start? Thumbtack knows homes so you don't have to. Don't know the difference between matte paint finish and satin? Or what that clunking sound from your dryer is? With Thumbtack, you don't have to be a home pro. You just have to hire one. You can hire top-rated pros, see price estimates, and read reviews all on the app. Download today.
This is the Daily Tech News for Friday, June 20th, 2025. We tell you what you need to know, follow up on context, and help each other understand.
Today, Jeffrey Katzenberg says animated movies are about to get 90% cheaper to produce. And Ray-Bans are no longer the only fashionable option for smart glasses.
Thank goodness. I'm Tom Merritt.
I'm Huyen Dow.
Let's start with what you need to know with the big story. If you've been intrigued by Meta's smart glasses, but you're an Oakley person, not a Ray-Ban person, well, good news.
Evolution takes centuries. We don't have that kind of patience.
Meta just launched the Oakley Meta Houston glasses, but it's spelled H-S-T-N. Not Houston, not Houston, but Houston, you know, like the place you go south of in New York City. Unlike rumors, the cameras are still on the side on this model. They are not on the bridge, but they can capture 3K video, unlike the Ray-Ban's 1080p, and have double the battery life at 8 hours on a charge with an extra 40 when you put it in the case. Otherwise, the functions are pretty similar to the Ray-Bans. You can talk to the glasses to take calls, play audio, take photos, take videos, even do some live streaming. You can ask Meta's Llama model questions, including about things that are in view of the camera. And the Oakleys, like the Ray-Bans, can also be connected to Be My Eyes to help visually impaired users get a description of what the cameras can see from a human. They have the same IPX4 water resistance as well. One non-Meta thing they have is Oakley's Prism lenses, which Oakley spells with a Z. Those filter out ultraviolet light. This is not a new partnership. Essilor-Luxottica makes both the Ray-Ban and the Oakley glasses. And the rumors still say that a version of Oakley's meant for cyclists that'll have that camera in the center will come under Oakley's Sphera design later this year. The first model available is a limited edition with gold accents for an extra $100. You pay $499. You can start pre-ordering on July 11th in Austria, Australia, Belgium. Let me hear it, Canada, Denmark. How about you, Finland, France, Germany, welcome in, Ireland, Italy, Norway, Spain, Sweden, the UK, and the US. And if you're like, hey, I'm not in one of those countries, later this year, they will come to India, Mexico, and the United Arab Emirates. More models than the gold one will follow. Those will be $399. They'll have a bunch of different frames and lens colors. When does this make you want to jump on the smart glasses train?
I'm thinking more. I'm definitely getting ready to get a ticket on the smart glasses train. So this definitely gives another option. I used to be a big Oakley.
Really? Me too.
Oakley person. Yeah. Back in early 2000s, I think. I had an Oakley backpack and everything. And I love the glasses, even though I couldn't afford them because I think that was grad school time. But this just makes so much sense. You know, just Oakley as a brand is still very strong. And of course, I think that does play into a really good segment of well-known brands partnering with a manufacturer like Meta. So this makes a lot of sense. I don't think I would go for limited edition gold accents for $100. But yeah, it makes sense. Although I have to admit, especially with Meta publishing AI prompts, I'd be a little bit nervous about putting these on. But I do think it's just a smart idea. And just in general, I think smart glasses are very interesting form factor, especially kind of in the wearable ecosystem.
That's a good question about the prompts. As far as I know, that's only when you make them in the Meta AI app. I have not seen anyone say that the prompts from their glasses have showed up there, but does make one wonder. So I think it's a fair thing to bring up. And yeah, I actually was into Oakley at the same time. I have a pair of Oakley flip-flops, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
That I've had for like 25 years. They've lasted forever.
It was a big
maybe not 25 years, but close to 20 anyway.
Yeah.
I was thinking like, well, I have the Ray-Ban originals, the ones everybody hated. And I've been kind of waiting to upgrade those, even though everybody loves the second round of the Ray-Bans. And I was like, ooh, but Oakley's, this might be fun. But like you, I don't want to spend an extra $100 just for gold accents. And now I'm holding off. And if I'm going to buy, I'm not going to buy until these others come out.
I mean, I feel like there's like a big market here for them too to push with athletes, if that's something that they can get. I don't know, whatever the privacy issues with glasses, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, there's so much here, and like, I'm actually really excited for. Not that I'm a cyclist myself. I'm a very poor bicycler, biker, whatever the appropriate noun for that is. But I think there's a big market here for smart glasses, especially with like action sports, just because, I mean, like, it's a thing already with folks, and like there's like, it feels like a whole segment of social media that is just folks doing really awesome mountain biking and trails with action cameras. I can't imagine that this wouldn't just enhance that. And I do like the detail that the camera's on the bridge. I assume that's for some kind of balance wind resistance thing for cyclists, but maybe I'm just overthinking it.
Or a POV that's like directly.
Oh, directly.
Probably a little of both. I love that we are. The Meta sort of stumbled into a successful product. There's been some interviews where their executives are like, yeah, we were only going to take 2 swings at this. And if it didn't work, we were going to bail. And well, the second swing worked. So we're going to keep making these. Plus, they've got a version that'll have a display that shows up in your glasses coming out later this year. And then they're talking about full-on augmented reality glasses in 2027.
I'm into it. I'm very, very interested. As someone who's finally been turned around on a watch, like getting back to watches, I'm really curious to see what we can do with kind of like heads up displays in real life. It's like it's like science fiction.
The heads up display is interesting, and honestly, as the audio quality starts to get better reviewed on these, especially these Oakleys, people are saying like, yeah, this is as good as a lot of earbuds. I'm like, actually walking around with glasses on and just hearing the speakers might be a better situation for me, because I always have to pause and talk to people when I'm walking my dog because they have a dog. But my earbuds are in and I always feel a little bit rude. Having the glasses on would be better for that.
I like that. Did you find that you had an adjustment period with the HUD? Because I mean, I haven't really used smart glass. I don't think I haven't tried any of this new smart glasses. But was there like a?
I have not used any with a HUD yet.
Okay.
So
then what? Sorry, then my bad. I have no idea what the experience is like on the Ray-Bans.
Yeah, so the Ray-Bans is just audio. You can talk to it and you can hear it. So you can play podcasts and music and stuff, or you can talk to it and it answers you, but that's it. So it's got a camera that it can see, and you can say, like, is that a tree? It'll be like, no, Tom, that's a car. But it doesn't show you anything. That's what's coming out later this year, or a version that will have a heads-up display.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is what I think I'm interested in. I've done at least assistance in my earbuds, and I just kind of forget that it's there, to be honest with you. Or
and the battery life wasn't very good for a long time either, and I don't want to have to remember to recharge my glasses. So
that's 2025. Everything needs a charge. So.
I know, right?
All right. Well, DTNS is made possible by you, the listener. We want to take time to thank Tim Deputy, Brandon Brooks, Joni Hernandez, and welcome new patron Ethereal Annie.
Ooh, welcome, Annie.
Imagine the merging of trusted intelligence into a unified experience. Imagine collaboration amongst teams and across continents. Imagine an empowered ecosystem designed to deliver actionable insights that inspire growth and sustainability. That's the power of the Connect Industrial Intelligence Platform to help you see further, innovate faster, accomplish more. That's the Connect Effect. Learn more at that'stheconnecteffect.com.
Hey there, it's Ryan Seacrest for Safeway. It's Oral Care Month, which means you can earn 4 times points on all your favorite oral care brands. Now through July 15th, shop in-store or online for items like Colgate toothpaste, Listerine mouthwash, Crest mouthwash or toothpaste, Sensodyne toothpaste, Hello toothpaste, or GUM flossers, and earn 4 times points. Points can be redeemed for future discounts on gas or groceries. Offer ends July 15th. Restrictions apply. Offers may vary. Visit Safeway.com for more details.
Banking with Capital One helps you keep more money in your wallet with no fees or minimums on checking accounts and no overdraft fees. Just ask the Capital One bank guy. It's pretty much all he talks about, in a good way. He'd also tell you that this podcast is his favorite podcast, too. Ah, really? Thanks, Capital One bank guy. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
And we're back, folks. It looks like Jim from sales just got in from his client lunch, and he's got receipts.
His next meeting is in 2 minutes. The team is asking, can he get through his expenses in that time?
He's going for it. Is that his phone? He's snapping a pic. He's texting Ramp.
Jim is fast, but this is unheard of.
That's it. He's done it. It's unbelievable.
On Ramp, expenses are faster than ever. Just submit them with a text. Switch your business to Ramp.com.
Picture this, you're halfway through a DIY car fix, tools scattered everywhere, and boom, you realise you're missing a part. It's okay, because you know whatever it is, it's on eBay. They've got everything, brakes, headlights, cold air intakes, whatever you need, and it's guaranteed to fit, which means no more crossing your fingers and hoping you ordered the right thing. All the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love.
There's more we need to know today. Let's get to the briefs.
Well, Android users can now open shared Word, Excel, and PowerPoint documents without having to log into a Microsoft account. Microsoft made this available for iOS in March. You won't be able to make edits or leave comments, though, until you sign in.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. There's a little bit of a security to that. You want people to sign in to change the document, but if you've sent the link to someone, you're saying like it's cool if you just look at this. So yeah, I think this is helpful for people because everybody uses Microsoft Documents. It seems like even if they don't want to, you just end up having to.
So truer words were never spoken.
Not everyone is into following the ins and outs of chip manufacturing. I get that, but there's a lot going on in the space. So let's give you a quick rundown of the latest. Bloomberg sources say that Japan's SoftBank is investigating a partnership with TSMC, Samsung, and others called Project Crystal Land, which really would be better as an amusement park or maybe a rock museum. But anyway, it's going to build robots is apparently what the story is, and other advanced technology in Arizona. The Economic Times says Foxconn may open a new facility in Tamil Nadu in India to make iPhone enclosures. One source said construction had already begun on the plant. It would be close to Foxconn's existing display module plant. So more iPhone production from Foxconn moving into India. Reuters says Foxconn is talking with NVIDIA about using humanoid robots at a plant in Houston, Texas in the United States. That will make servers for NVIDIA. The target is supposedly Q1 when the plant's supposed to get up and running. They want the humanoid robots walking around as soon as they open. Foxconn has been working with NVIDIA and China's UB Tech on humanoid robots. We're not sure which ones we'll use, but since it's an NVIDIA plant, I'm guessing it's probably going to be NVIDIA if they do it. And a report from The Bell in Korea says that Google's switch from Samsung to TSMC for the Tensor G5 chip, that's the one they use in the Pixel devices, has served as a wake-up call to Samsung's chip division. The foundry is running around with some panic, and there is an internal investigation of what it calls the Google incident underway.
I just love like the euphemistic terms that companies have to come up with for things like this. Just, it's like, that which shall not be named.
Yeah. They are, it reminds me of when everybody talked about Google having its red alert moment when OpenAI, when ChatGPT came out. It's that kind of thing going on at Samsung.
All right, well, starting June 3rd, users of Microsoft's family safety feature for Windows started reporting that it was blocking the Chrome browser. Microsoft has created a bug report for the behavior and is investigating. Other browsers like Opera and Firefox do not appear to be affected. And some users reported that changing the name of the chrome.exe file solved the issue.
There's so many armchair things you can say here. Like, yes. Well, obviously Microsoft's trying to stop people from using Chrome, which I really honestly don't think is the case.
No.
From their reaction, it seems like they're like, we don't know what's causing this, which leads me to my second armchair response of, well, if I can change the name from chrome.exe to something else, seems like you've just got a filter somewhere on chrome.exe that you need to figure out.
Sometimes, what is it? If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, sometimes it's a duck. Duck, y'all. Sometimes.
Do you think this is a duck?
I've seen ducks like this before.
Wink twice. If you think this is a duck.
I've seen ducks like this before, just saying.
Okay.
Blinking.
All right.
No one can see that, but I was blinking wildly at my camera for Tom.
Cloudflare CEO Matthew Prince told Axios that his numbers show search referrals to publisher websites are falling because people aren't clicking on citation links in chatbots. So that's two problems in one. First of all, you should check those citations because sometimes they don't say what the chatbot says they say. And of course, publishers aren't getting the traffic for their news. Cloudflare's data shows that in 2015, Google sent one visitor to a site for every 2 pages that it crawled. 6 months ago, that ratio had fallen to 1 visitor for every 6 pages. And now it's 1 for every 18. So in the past 6 months, it has changed significantly. By comparison, chatbots send even fewer people at 1 visitor for every 1,500 pages they crawl for OpenAI and 1 for every 60,000 pages for Anthropic. Cloudflare says it is working on a tool to help publishers block large language models from crawling their sites. And honestly, you don't need to hear this quote from Matthew Prince to believe that Cloudflare is going to make a tool. But Prince is so confident that he told Axios, I go to war every single day with the Chinese government, the Russian government, the Iranians, the North Koreans, probably Americans, the Israelis, all of them who are trying to hack into our customer sites. And you're telling me I can't stop some nerd with a C Corp in Palo Alto?
I'm sorry. That just the chutzpah that goes into that statement.
I don't think anyone was telling him that.
No, but I think.
Yeah.
Hey, when you have a shot to kind of flex a little bit, you take that shot to flex a little bit. So
yeah, and honestly, Cloudflare is pretty good at this stuff, and he's not wrong about the sophistication of the attacks that Cloudflare has to defend against.
I needed that. That was like a cup of coffee. Thank you so much.
Nice.
All right. Well, according to Kantar's Insights Division for South Asia, 23% of people in India use only mobile phones to consume media, no TVs. That's up from 15% in 2023. The trend is higher among men in lower income and rural groups. Affordable smartphones and monthly service rates as low as $4 have driven the change. India has the highest share of internet traffic coming from mobile at 78.6% compared to 62.8% in China and 43.1% in the U.S. Along with these numbers is the fact that online marketplaces like Meesho and Flipkart have been growing with rural users.
Yeah, this makes me want to pay even more attention to the companies that do mobile services in India, because this is the kind of condition where you see a leapfrog, where suddenly there's mobile services coming out of India that no one would have thought of elsewhere because they just don't have as many users as they have here.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And I think like we've been seeing this like for a number of years in like the mobile segment of like the mobile only users. And like we've kind of been aware of it, but it's really fascinating to see it kind of come to head in like emerging markets where It's like a different kind of like leapfrogging, like technologically speaking, where in like the developed nations, we kind of have like a slower ramp up because the technology is developing here. And then when that technology gets kind of disseminated to emerging markets, things leapfrog, and that kind of changes the way the socioeconomics of it works. And so it's really fascinating to see. So, yeah.
The Economist was doing a report on what India needs to do to become like Korea, Taiwan, et cetera. And one of the things was they need to have a hit. They don't have a company or a startup, that they can point to and say like, aha, that's the one. Vietnam is in the same situation. And so I thought it was interesting to see this. I'm like, if India were to have a hit, it might come out of this just because of the user base.
Absolutely.
As we expected when we mentioned it on Wednesday, the President of the United States signed an executive order Thursday extending the deadline of non-enforcement of a U.S. law that makes it illegal to distribute TikTok. I know it's a long way for me to say that, but I feel like that gives you a better understanding of what's actually happening. It is against the law to distribute TikTok. The government has said we won't enforce the law. They haven't actually made it legal. Anyway, the extension is for 90 days, and the administration says it'll be the last one they will do, although we'll see. They say they will either get an agreement to divest enough of TikTok to satisfy the law or begin enforcing it.
We're really serious this time, you guys. Like for realsies this time. They're
so close to it.
Last chance, you guys. Well, China's food delivery scene is booming, but it's dominated by Alibaba and Meituan, which have seen takeout prices rise and driver pay decline. JD.com has tried to take advantage and break the duopoly by charging restaurants no commission, offering bonuses to full-time delivery people, and discounts for customers. JD.com's founder, Richard Liu, also gained attention by personally delivering orders in Beijing and, of course, publishing videos of himself doing it, as well as hanging out with delivery folks. JD has captured more than half of the volume of his competitors over the last few months.
Yeah, this is a fun story. There's lots of folks who posted selfies of themselves with Richard Liu going like, yeah, I didn't expect when I ordered my food that the founder of the company would be bringing it. But here he is with his bike helmet on, from delivering it on the scooter. Apparently he was like hanging out, having a beer after work with a bunch of the drivers and stuff. I mean, it's a stunt, but it's a pretty good one. Seems to have worked.
I agree. I'm all for this kind of stuff. Get your hands dirty, man. Get in there and meet the people. I like it.
All right. A new version of the iPhone's default ringtone has been discovered in the first developer beta of iOS 26. It was found in the code by 8810CFW, who posted about it on X. So you can't yet select it from the ringtone settings, even if you have the developer beta. Apparently, it is referred to as Reflection Alt1-Encore Remix. Reflection is the name of the original iOS ringtone, the default ringtone, which I associate with an alarm that means I'm late for something. This is that alarm. I literally had goosebumps as I involuntarily reached to turn off the alarm. Here's what the new version sounds like. So it's similar. It's kind of the same melody, maybe, but
it's got a little more something going on, like a little bit more hype, if one could say, just a little more energy or something. I don't know. It's nice. I like it.
Yeah, so some people are describing it as glassy, which would go with the liquid glass redesign.
Ooh.
Yeah. So maybe that's why it's in there, and they were going to introduce it at some point, and somebody found it before they were supposed to, But yeah, this is the original again right here. And this is the new one. Yeah, it's a little funkier. Yeah.
Little funkier. Little something extra, some extra hits or something in there. Anyway, very nice. Well, congratulations, and hope you guys enjoyed if it actually does come to people's ears soon. A worldwide survey by the Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism found that 79% of people surveyed do not receive news alerts on their phone in any given week. 43% have actively disabled such notifications. The report says people disable the alerts, quote, either because they feel they get too many or because they're not useful. Many consumers are overwhelmed by notifications of all kinds. Yes. Raise my hand. Yes, I raise my hand on this.
I think there are so many things that contributed to this. Obviously, the tenor of the news can make people decide, like, I don't need to be seeing this in the middle of my day, all day, every day.
Yeah.
But I have noticed that I have whittled things down to just the Wall Street Journal and BBC News, because the Wall Street Journal will usually tell me the domestic news I want to hear, and BBC will tell me the international news I want to hear. But even I sometimes get close to turning off because they abuse the privilege.
Yes. And I think this is a rampant issue. And I'm more along the lines of, like, I have just too much of everything. And so I did at one point kind of try to filter my news alerts when I was feeling a little more capable to handle all the tenor and the amount of news that happens. But I think just also, I do think there's something about, like, on top of all of that is just people, I think increasingly companies are abusing the privilege to have notifications sent.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is. Other than
because they want to drive traffic, because they're losing all the traffic to the chatbots. I understand the temptation, but
yeah, and maybe it's just too hard technologically to filter things. And also, I feel like once for example, again, Android person, like, Android is very forward now about being like, hey, do you actually want to enable notifications for this app? So I feel like that's also putting pressure on people. So once they get it in, they will just cram as much information as possible at you, whether that's promotional or not.
Yeah.
So
the ones that really get me are when it's like a feature story. And I'm like, that's not breaking news. I don't need to know that, a woman in Minnesota has made $1 million selling plushies. Sounds like a great story. Not breaking news. Don't need to interrupt my screen with it. So
no, I think I did actually get several of those, which felt more like, okay, look, I have only so much capacity. Okay, now you've just broken my trust. But I do think that's a thing. I just think the filtering is not done carefully enough, or maybe that's just the hard problem. I don't know.
Well, those are the essentials for today. So let's dive into a deeper story.
All right. Well, Jeffrey Katzenberg says AI is about to make animated movies 90% cheaper to produce. Is this the next Toy Story moment or just tech hype? Andy Beach breaks it down.
Andy, thanks again for joining us, man.
Hey, Tom, good to see you again.
Yeah, good to have you back. So will I be able to make DreamWorks in my basement now? Is that what we're talking about?
Well, if Jeffrey Katzenberg is to be believed, the answer is yes. He was recently covered in an Axios article. He was at one of their summits, and he was talking about basically the way that AI is changing Hollywood now, and compared it to the way that CG and CGI tooling transformed things in the 90s when he was at DreamWorks.
This is the kind of thing that Katzenberg does quite often. He says things that are not wrong, but attention getting.
Provocative.
Exactly. If you had to gauge how much we should be guided by this, would be a way to put it. How would you put it?
Well, if you look past the headlines a little bit and look at some of the broader pieces that are there, I think what he was really stating and talking about is that the impact for AI is really going to lower the barrier of entry for independent creators. It's going to give tooling for individuals to go do things with content in a way that it's typically taken a larger collection and a studio to do. So they may be the bigger beneficiary here. And then it is AI studios that are going to come along and probably be more involved in the more traditional Hollywood system, I think.
Yeah. And there seems more to look at and say that makes sense given where we are here than, say, with a previous enterprise where we were going to have vertical and horizontal video at the same time. Is there are there other things going on in the industry that would lend credence to say, like, yeah, not only is this a good idea, but he is not the only one. Maybe he isn't the one who's going to back the winner.
Well, I think there's a lot of moving parts in how this is coming together right now. And probably one of the bigger ones is around who owns the intellectual property that comes out of these AI pieces. And until we get a little more resolution about that, it's going to be tougher to say what is the role overall for content creators when they are using AI at scale and acknowledging it in a more serious way. I think that hurts the independents less because they're less tied to that long-term monetization of every single piece of intellectual property. That the independent doesn't have a cast of characters the same way a studio does that they're trying to protect. So I think until that gets a little more resolution, which is really just moves at the speed of courts, unfortunately, it's going to continue to be something that holds back the studio system likely more than the independents.
So giving the independents a little bit of a leg up, and I think possibly causing people who are worried about job replacements to look at the studios as the place to provide pressure on this, and which would also slow the studios down.
Yeah, I think they're going to be heavily focused on not just testing out the ideas with the technology, which they're already fully engaged in, but it's going to be making sure that they can have a defensible position against their content being used. There have been other stories recently about how we're starting to see some of the first big lawsuits by studios against model makers for the content that's coming out of their systems. And that likely goes hand in hand with some of the regulation discussions that are beginning out there. So it all ultimately sort of collapses back into this overall discussion around the AI revolution.
And in the end, like I said, it's a matter of what's good, right? We could see a lot of people take advantage of these tools that are 90% faster to make something that's not very good. And so you still have to have something that resonates with people the way the original Toy Story did.
Yeah, and I think that even goes back. You can look at sort of the dawn of YouTube, gave us a lot of new people putting up content. It didn't mean it was all great content. It just meant we had a lot more content. And eventually you had a sort of sifting and out of what was really good. And that got an audience and an attraction. And then we had a long tail of, very minorly or niche content as part of it.
And honestly, I look forward to that. That was a fun period of time. Not every single thing I watched was amazing, but I definitely started to see things that I never would have seen before, and they were highly entertaining, and we're still reaping the benefits today. So I'm not against that part of it. Yeah, no, I personally am also a big fan of that because I think it finds people that weren't necessarily going to be a creator before. It gives a storyteller the tools that they didn't previously have access to go do something, and you might discover a new voice as part of it. Yeah. Well, Andy, thanks for helping us wrap our heads around this. If people want to read more of your analysis of this, maybe get a few more details, where should they go? So I've been writing on a Substack about a variety of topics, this included, and I recently just rebranded it, and it now has its own name. It's called Engines of Change, and it has a URL, enginesofchange.ai. Excellent. Enginesofchange.ai. Thank you, Andy. Yep. Thanks so much, Tom. If you have feedback about anything that gets brought up in the show, we love to hear from you. One way to do it is those little social networks out there. We are at DTNS Show. You can find us under that name on X, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and Mastodon. For TikTok and YouTube, you can find us at Daily Tech News Show.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
BetterHelp Online Therapy bought this 30-second ad to remind you right now, wherever you are, to unclench your jaw, relax your shoulders, take a deep breath in and out. Feels better, right? That's 15 seconds of self-care. Imagine what you could do with more. Visit BetterHelp.com/randompodcast for 10% off your first month of therapy. No pressure, just help. But for now, just relax.
We end every episode of DTNS with some shared wisdom. Today, Allison has some personal experience to share.
Yes, thank you, Allison. And yes, this is Allison Sheridan of NosillaCast. Allison writes, we didn't get rid of Wise the first time they had a security failure, but we did the second time. I heard Tom and Jen Cutter talking about Eufy and then Wise in the briefing. We replaced all of our indoor Wise cams the second time they blew it on security. We chose Eufy because they're only slightly more expensive, and the indoor cams we bought were HomeKit compatible. Coincidentally, yesterday we replaced all of our remaining outdoor Wise cams with Eufy cams, and they're pretty amazing. Replaced our Ring doorbell with a Eufy doorbell too. The outdoor stuff is not compatible with HomeKit, but I'm working on Homebridge now. Very happy to be Wise free, Allison. So I don't know if this is really sharing wisdom as much as wise. Sorry.
Wow.
This should not have been
okay. Very good. No, very good.
But yeah, I don't know if you use any of these brands at all.
No. Well, I don't either. My husband prefers, because we live in Colorado, he prefers Ubiquiti. Is that the one?
Nice.
Yeah. And so we have all the Unify, Ubiquiti, things that start with U type stuff, because we like local. And I guess like just generally speaking, he's kind of happy with it. And we do a lot of like, I think we host as much of our data as possible. And that's as far as I can say, because I don't actually play with that stuff in my house. I just hope that it works.
I've been thinking about switching to different cams. We have old Nest cams, like pre-Google acquiring them, Nest cams that we still use and they still work great. And then we have a Ring doorbell that's like locked down so that it's not sending anything anywhere. But yeah, I feel like, you know what, maybe I should look at Ubiquiti or Eufy.
Yeah, thanks. Actually, it's good to know about Eufy as well, because I think sometimes we're not quite happy with Ubiquiti, but good to know that there's other options out there. Thanks, Allison. All right, well, what are you thinking about? Do you have some insight into a story? Please share it with us. Feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com.
Indeed. And big thanks to Andy Beach and Allison Sheridan for contributing to today's show. Thank you for being along for Daily Tech News Show. You can keep us in business by becoming a patron. Head to patreon.com/DTNS. This week's episodes of Daily Tech News Show Briefing were created by the following people. Host, producer, and writer Tom Merritt. Host and writer Jason Howell. Co-host Rob Dunwood. Co-host Jen Cutter. Co-host Wentway Dow. Co-host Sarah Lane. Producer Anthony Lemos. Producer Roger Chang. Editor Hammond Chamberlain. Editor Victor Bogdan. Science correspondent Dr. Nikki Ackerbans. Social media producer and moderator Zoe Detterding. Our mods, Beatmaster, W. Scottus1, BioCow, Captain Kipper, Steve Guadarrama, Paul Reese, Matthew J. Stevens, a.k.a. Gadget Virtuoso, and J.D. Galloway. Mod and video hosting by Dan Christensen. Music provided by Martin Bell and Dan Luters. Art by Len Peralta. Acast ad support from Tatiana Matias, and Patreon support from Tom McNeil. Our guests this week included Andy Beach and Patrick Schlott. And thanks to all our patrons who make the show possible.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
I want my dog to live a long, happy life, maybe even hit 19. So I feed them Ollie. Ollie's fresh and nutritious human-grade meals are made to support their health and happiness with protein-packed recipes dogs go crazy for, like beef with sweet potatoes, turkey with blueberries, or lamb with cranberries. Honestly, you might start thinking, dang, my dog eats better than I do. And that's probably true when it comes to Ollie. Head to ollie.com/healthypup and use code HEALTHYPUP to get 60% off your first box of meals. Plus, they offer a clean bowl guarantee on the first box. So if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/healthypup and enter code HEALTHYPUP to get 60% off your first box. Feed your forever friend with Ollie.